Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GnWC Backlash Prediction Show. And now, our starting lineups. Angry Larry, the University of Phoenix Online.
Duke. I dropped out of college twice, so I'm not even going to mention both of them.
Well, what's your name?
Duke.
Okay, I understand that's where you went. What's your name?
My
You know, Duke Blue Devil
name is-
people are so pretentious. Can you just say your name?
name is Duke.
All right, that's Christian Leitner. I'm Angry Larry. We are going to talk about Backlash. But first, since this is our first show since the brand split, ignoring SummerSlam, this is the first individual brand pay-per-view. We have to switch things up because it's going to be like every other week, or at least 19 shows out of 52 that are going to be pay-per-view only, but we don't want to do that anymore, do we?
No, and then there's the 19 main roster shows, and then there's all the NXT ones too. So, oh god.
I know, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a little bit of a hybrid show. We're going to talk about the shows who are not featured on the live event special / pay-per-view for the week.
In quick fashion,
Like we always do. Okay?
Right.
And then we'll get on to the main show, and that part of the show will be just as normal, except we'll try to pick up the pace a little bit here. But
Sure we will.
No news and notes in these shows. I don't know if there was necessarily any like real news and notes for this week anyway, except for Del Rio's press conference tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah,
That's
he's gonna sign with somebody, maybe like that independent in Mexico that's not CMLL or AAA. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Elite. Now that I think
Interesting.
about it, yeah.
So you're saying that Del Rio is joining the Elite?
Yes, you can quote me on
Okay.
that. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, moving on.
Moving on, let's talk about Monday Night Raw really quick. We're gonna do like one thing, high or low. Duke, balls in your court.
I can go either way with it.
Yeah, or you can mention two things. It's not really like a hard rule. Like I'm not going to suspend
Okay,
you or
sure.
anything. So talk about whatever you want.
You can't suspend me.
I quit.
Nah, I won't. High point was Jericho and Owens. Really, just all the. It wasn't just Jericho and Owens with Mick and Stephanie. It was also the early segment with Mick and Stephanie. I thought those were all really good. All the backstage stuff.
Anything with Owens backstage or in front of the camera was really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everything
Absolutely.
we expected to be with him as champion, especially the suit. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, especially the suit, sure. But I wish he would have had a scarf. I hope Jericho gifts him a scarf. That would be fantastic.
They have to stay. This is going to sound dumb, but it is an honest question, and I think I know the answer anyway. Canada celebrates Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. Everybody does.
Okay. So,
That's,
not
that
everybody,
celebrates
but
Christmas. Yeah.
All right. Jericho should gift them a scarf for Christmas. They should be
Oh,
around
that's a
at least
great
that
idea.
long. You know what I mean? When's
That's a
Canada
great
Day?
idea.
I'm going to look that up. You talk more.
Okay. Canada Day. Canada Day. Canada Day. Canada Day.
No,
That's
I didn't
hard
say
for me
talk
to
about the
say.
same thing every single... Okay, Saturday, July 1st. All right, so that's out.
Oh, it's past.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I should have known that because I saw it blow up on Twitter for that day. Okie dokie. So, yeah, the talking segments with, you're right, pretty much anything with Owens in it was really good, which is to be expected. But what was unexpected was the sort of like the acting chops, and we see it from time to time, the acting chops of Foley and Steph in that segment where he was getting in her face and sort of recollecting his first time meeting her as the pretty girl with the shy smile and stuff like that. It was pretty cool stuff. And if you see what Mick said about that on his Facebook, where he sort of compares the first time he met Stephanie and then one of their first interactions on screen to what happened this Monday, it's a pretty cool little deal. And Mick Foley's a pretty fantastic writer, so he can really spin a web of a story. So anyway, all that stuff was positive. Negative was the old day segment, and I think I've seen a lot of people say this possibly the worst wrestling segment they've seen in years, and I won't go that far. It was just too slow, too overdone, too overproduced,
And it wasn't funny.
and yeah, just generally wasn't funny. I mean, the whole old fart thing wasn't really that funny in the first place, and then you double and triple down on it with this week's rendition of it. So yeah, I wish Gallows and Anderson. This is something Larry has said, and he's right. I just wish they would not be quite as comedy right now, and they would just beat people up.
You remember when they beat up the Dudleys
nice.
after the Dudleys make their announcement? And
Yeah.
that was on the heels of doing whatever they did with the New Day, and it was like, wow, okay. That's
Yeah.
cool. Remember when they
It
beat up
seemed
the
like-
Usos out of nowhere?
Yeah,
Okay.
it seemed like a page being turned.
And then remember when they
did
played with
that one.
eggs in a jar? And then did the old day segment? It's like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't have words. I don't have words.
Yeah,
for
so that's the and that's not anything on those guys necessarily, because it was very scripted, and yeah, they did. I felt like they did what they could do with it, and New Day tried to salvage it as much as they could as well, because they knew it was dying. But yeah, can we just move on from the forced comedy and put the guys in the ring and let them beat up? Like, I'm actually okay with. I don't want to sound hypocritical. I'm okay with them not having the match that they need to have for whatever reason, but can they be in the ring together and do something wrestling related that's not?
Hey, what
just
happened to pairing
bad
them off
comedy?
like one-on-one or something? Like, you know, all the things we complained about like weeks ago, that we see every combination of the match leading up to a pay-per-view. Like, when you're seeing no combinations of the match leading up to the pay-per-view, isn't there like some like middle ground?
It's one extreme to another, and there's got to be a happy medium. And how about like pairing one person from each of the teams with some other random guys or something like that?
Our producer's telling us that last week they did wrestle in a mixed tag team match. So what do we want?
That's not what I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said before that we've seen them no pairing off whatsoever, facing each other in the ring.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
You're right. But yeah, let's see something else. Let's see a happy medium of, you know what, maybe do some comedy spots during a match as opposed to having to just avoid touching each other and do comedy constantly. So anyway, but
the whole
I'll
ring
get off the
postitis,
negative and I'll let you go on.
Yeah, I mean the whole ring postitis thing could have been the thing. It could have been the thing. They did it once, they teased it another time, and then that was it. Like, forget the eggs in the jar. Just how about they just injure people that way? You know what I mean? Just
and then Jon Stewart got involved and made it like took it from not the best to just completely awful.
I don't think it was Jon
not good for
Stewart's
the product.
fault. I think it was just the crowd's reaction to Jon Stewart. I think he did fine. The crowd just felt flat.
But
I don't know.
Well, we can talk about that later.
Jon Stewart's not trendy anyway, so what would they expect?
He's not really useful to the product in that regard. Like, if he wants to come in as celebrity Jon Stewart, that's fine, but he's coming in as like old retired guy Jon Stewart, and it's weird. Like,
Jon Stewart or the Arrow?
What?
I said Jon Stewart or the Arrow. Who would you rather want in the ring?
The Arrow.
I'll go Geyer. All right, let's go on to something else here. All right, well, I don't have a good point of Raw because Raw to me was pretty flat. I almost wish it happened a week later so I can be like more on Monday Night Football. And it was Labor Day, so I didn't have my other backup shows to watch. And for some reason, Adult Swim moved Bob's Burgers off of Monday nights. I don't understand why they did that. But how about Cesaro losing, going down 3-0, which pretty much we both said. You probably gave the 0-3 count. I gave a 3-1 deficit early on. And then his only win has been on a house show in Europe. Like, how is that even doing him any favors to, like, if they're going to make him come, like, I don't know, whatever. How about Bo Dallas returning in this serious Bo gimmick? What was wrong with corny Bo to give the motivational speeches? Why do we got to turn him serious? The old gimmick worked. Have you ever seen the crowd during the days of, like, just after NXT and then him doing the motivational stuff? The Bo Leave shirts are in the crowd in abundance. I'm not wrong on that. You got to pull up the WWE Network and just look. You see, you see your standard shirts in the crowd, like a whole bunch of them, and then you see a lot of Bo Dallas t-shirts too. I don't like Serious Bo. The victory lap is now a walk around. I mean, it's just, it just seems like it's scripted to fail, and it probably will in a week or two. You already touched on Old Day. How about Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil? I say this every week. Just no one cares, and it's a shame because those two together as a team, people cared about. Now you're trying to force this manufactured feud on them for the second time over, and I keep saying that as well, when it failed miserably the first time. And all you have now is Bob Backlund. Did the difference, because there's jealousy involved this time as there was last time. And I don't know. We talked about this before we went on. It's 3-hour show. So, like, SmackDown's 2 hours. A bad show on SmackDown doesn't compare to a bad show on Raw, because that extra hour makes it seem like it's a lot worse. So maybe, just maybe, that's the reason why SmackDown gets a better kind of grade every week, because it's a lot tighter. But there is a lot left to be desired on Raw. I mean, their ceiling is nowhere near. They've never hit the ceiling yet on the potential of that show. And it sucks. Let's see how the build up to the first pay-per-view goes, though. It's probably going to, kick into full gear this Monday. But hey, how about this, Duke? Ready? You ready for the biggest bold statement of all time?
What do you got?
Cruiserweight division, right? It debuts in a couple weeks.
Sure.
It will fail.
I hope not. I get what you're saying though, with the general booking. I don't want to say failures, but just the booking apathy, maybe, of Raw. It seems like it could be destined to fall into some of the same traps, and that just, I don't know.
You'll get one or two guys to break the mold and be popular. WCW's Cruiserweight division was kind of the same way. No one really cared about Super Calo or, Damien 666 or whoever. But they liked Mysterio. In a way, they liked Juventud Guerrera, Psicosis, and people like that. I think you'll have the same thing here. Who sticks? I don't know, but I think there's going to be a lot of failures. There may be a lot of 6-man tag matches stemming from the weekly Cruiserweight, match to, like, create rivalries, create champions, and stuff like that. But eventually, and let's give it 3 months, eventually your Cruiserweight division is going to be the couple guys that stick, Neville, Sin Cara, and whoever else would fit the mold of whatever weight limit they want to assign to the class, if they even give it a number. Because they can fake people like Sami Zayn being in there and a whole bunch of other people. So, I hope not as well. But if I'm going to see matches I enjoy with a crowd that doesn't enjoy it, it's going to take a lot out from me as well. So, to be successful, it needs both.
I think the excitement of Cruiserweight wrestling will draw in the crowd. My biggest thing with the Cruiserweight division in general is I hope they treat it like a show within the show, as opposed to, all right, here's a random throwaway Cruiserweight match to fill some time, and 2 hours later, all right, here's another random Cruiserweight
Wow,
match
you're giving them 2 segments on Raw.
I mean, there's time for it, but
I'm barely giving them one, and I feel like they're going to do a lot of 6-man, like maybe even Lucha Rules kind of tag matches where tags don't need to take place as long as one person goes out of the ring and the other person enters.
Yeah, I think booking it to be like 45 minutes of Cruiserweight.
Oh, no way.
It doesn't have to be 45 televised minutes.
They're giving it 12 minutes.
45 minutes of Cruiserweights, like maybe right in the middle of the show, or maybe sort of moving them into the third hour. So like you start at 9:30 and it goes till 10:15, and it's all Cruiserweight stuff. I think that's how it succeeds. But I don't know that that's. What
I don't think that. 45 minutes of the crowd watching a cruiserweight match or being felt like they're forced to watch cruiserweights for a big block of time. No, it gets like 8 to 12 minutes at the top of the 8 o'clock or the 9 o'clock hour, and then that's really it. And it opens every pay-per-view. That's basically, and that's not a bad thing. If the crowd's into it and and everything, they might get more time eventually down the line.
I think if you book it as a show within the show, it succeeds more long term.
Or people don't care about cruiserweights and they turn off the show within the show and they come back after Monday Night Football when they know everything's back on track.
But why would they not care if there's people incorporated who are already on the main roster who have nothing else to do at the moment anyway, like Neville or like Sami Zayn or any other guy that doesn't necessarily have a
because
why would they not care?
Because there's a large part of the population that would rather see Rollins or even Roman Reigns rather than Neville. And that's your WWE main roster audience, and we know this. You know what I mean? It's Neville's not outdrawing any of those guys, or even Jericho or whatever. There's going to be mold breakers though, and I'm not going to say there's not, but 45 minutes is just.
Yeah, maybe I'm giving maybe 30, but I get what you're saying. I think if they book it like it's an actual division that even people who are already on Raw want to be part of, I think that creates a longer term proposition.
Well, it does look like it's a segmented roster because of the names they have announced. So they've never made it feel like anybody on the Raw roster who qualifies is eligible. They made it feel like here are your cruiserweights in your cruiserweight division, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of where I get that feeling from.
Right. So that's why
that it is sort of a show within a show.
That's why I'm saying in 3 months, it's not going to be that anymore. And now you're going to see more mainstay WWE guys winning the title and competing in those matches. Neville versus Sin Cara opening up whatever the February Raw pay-per-view is kind of thing. But we'll see. And I'm not rooting for the failure. I'm scared. Is probably the better term for what I'm feeling. I'm scared it's going to fail. So, with that, let's just roll right into CWC for right now. Finals, live semifinals, and live finals. I didn't realize they were going to do both on the same night. 2 hours next Wednesday. Ibushi versus Perkins, Jack Sabre Jr. versus Grand Metalik. Who do you like?
It's Zack Sabre Jr.
Jack Sabre Jr. Yeah, that's what I said. Go ahead. Who do you like?
Wow. And I even got in a cough because I just had to. Honestly, Grand Metalik and I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to call.
I'm thinking Ibushi over Grand Metalik in the finals.
You think so?
Ibushi's like the golden boy.
I think Ibushi makes sense to go to the finals, but they have really been playing up week to week more and more him taking neck shots. So maybe someone takes him out, or maybe they soften him up for the finals, because Grand Metalik has gone a lot further than I expected, honestly. He's great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I really enjoy, and I enjoy him more every time I see him. It was just sort of unexpected to see him moved as far in the tournament as he was. So I wouldn't put it past them to have him win the whole thing and sort of be the poster boy for the new cruiserweight division.
All right, not bad. I don't know his status, and I've said this a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody who's winning is not going to be somebody who's already been potentially locked up to a WWE contract to be on NXT or to be in part of that cruiserweight division on Raw. And I think Ibushi's been long since signed, except they've just not publicly revealed that.
Well, he has publicly said that he doesn't plan to sign to just WWE, and he said that a few weeks ago, and then the next time he was asked about it, he said, "Well, I don't know, maybe." So it could be he's kayfabing.
Yeah, there's a lot of kayfabe in that answer. I think.
Could be,
Yeah. So all right, the Grand Metalik, Ibushi.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Anything in NXT stand out for you this week on TV?
The tag match was really good.
TM61 versus Nice and Davari.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Nice looked really good, but TM61, they, I think they're funny guys. But they haven't fully been able to show their personalities. I don't think, even in the ring.
Yeah, you know, they're like that weird team or person that has signed with NXT that has really been 50-50. And everybody else that's been high profile like they were at signing time was really like undefeated for a stretch, you know what I mean?
Well, they lost their debut.
Yeah. And they lost to Gargano and Ciampa, and then
Yeah.
they lost to the Authors of Pain. So they're like 50-50 right now, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but what I've seen of them, they're pretty funny guys, and they're pretty good at just sort of rolling with whatever's going on from a I guess promo standpoint, conversationally, I guess, from a dialogue standpoint. That's what I'm trying to say. But and they look good in the ring. It's just so far they haven't had a lot of time. Until this week, they had a good opening match. I mean, I think they went. I don't know what the actual time was, but
it was a decent match. Yeah,
it seemed 15 plus, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that was a standout. Ember Moon also still looks good, but I want to see her in an extended match with
Leah
someone.
Von Dutch was her opponent. It's weird. It's weird when you see people who just appear on TV. And her name wasn't changed a lot, but it still was like, I know her from somewhere. Well, I mean, her name was on the screen, and I'm still going, who the hell was she? I think I've seen her in Shine or Shimmer, and it's like Leah Von Dutch. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, wait, they're calling her Leah Von. Oh, that's creative. Okay, good. Cien Almas is like basically what I was saying about TM61, except he only beat Ty Dillinger.
Which was like possibly the worst person he could beat.
It was like
for a debut.
High profile signing, right? This was the guy from Mexico that other people were telling not to sign with WWE, right? Do I have that right?
La Sombra?
Yeah.
I don't know if they were telling him not to, but
oh, I thought like somebody like Victor Quinones or whoever, like the high profile Mexican people who used to have a relationship with WWE were telling some Mexican superstar not to sign with WWE, or saying it was the biggest mistake he ever made or whatever. And I think it was Almas, but I could be wrong. But he hasn't had the time to do anything, and the only anything he's been doing has been losing. So I don't know. It's got to be a winner. There's got to be a loser, and it's such a short show and short like length between tapings. I don't know what to think of. Like I can't treat this guy as any sort of credible opponent anymore to anybody.
Well, he came in at a weird time. They debuted him. We've already talked about this ad nauseum, but they debuted him against the wrong person, and then he fought that person again and won again. And it's someone that he just didn't need to be in the ring with at this stage. They could have built to having a good little back and forth, and people would have, I think, gotten into it. But anyway, Ty Dillinger, not a good opponent for him early on.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Ty was getting popularity, but he still was nobody who had an impressive win-loss record anyway. So he was beating the low guy on the totem pole with any credibility. And normally you go up from there. You don't just lose every match from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. But I'm just talking about from a crowd. From
he was never getting over on that match.
Yeah. Right, yeah, that's what I mean.
Or at most 50%.
Yeah, he wasn't going to get over on the debut, and then he went right back in the same match, for a redo, and it's just like, that's not going to fix the problem. You still got him in the ring with someone that no one wants to see lose. So it's you're essentially setting him up as the heel, even though you're treating him like a babyface.
Or again, best you're going to do is with a smart mark crowd is get a 50-50 thing going, and that's not really how you want to build a superstar. And a face superstar. You want them over the roof, through the roof. And
yeah. So there's that, but then there's also these TNA superstars, and I say that like lowercase s, like the actual word superstars, not the WWE term superstars.
Right. All these signings that leapfrog them.
yeah, these huge dudes with Rude and Aries, and you don't. So there's no reason for him to win against those guys. But to me, it seems like maybe you get. I mean, because they're not young, so it seems like you want to get them to the main roster somehow pretty fast, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
Bobby Roode's 39.
yeah,
you know what I'm
but,
saying?
I
It's
don't
like,
know if they necessarily sign people anymore in the hopes to development them and put them on the main roster, because NXT has to be a full functioning product in its own right. So
yeah,
if it happens,
and
it happens.
maybe they start paying people better for
Yeah.
NXT.
If
so,
Daddy
yeah.
wants them, Daddy gets them. But if not, why not? Why can't they be the top level in NXT? And that's that's not a bad thing.
Well, and it's like Samoa Joe talks about, how he doesn't really travel. Like the one time he traveled was Lowell, Massachusetts,
Yeah.
to win a title. And so it's like, and I may be exaggerating, but like you don't see house show results with Samoa Joe's name on it because that's his deal. He's a TV guy. That's what he does. He does TV and events.
Right.
And
But it's funny how Bobby Roode was all over the road before he was even on TV. You know what I mean? And losing on the road, all over the place. So it's I guess it's
well, and that may have just been getting in the ring with people.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying they're burying them or anything. I'm just saying it's weird how the dynamic of NXT is, because it's a full functioning production of a wrestling company, but it's still the developmental, so they have to do both sides of it. They have to do live house shows now, and they have to get people there by having talent there as well. They have to have, I'm going to say ratings, but they got to produce a good product on TV to keep people into the WWE network. And they've got to serve as a training forum for, the main roster. So,
yep. And back to Almas, just real quick, because that's how we got on this. Long story short, he came in at a weird time. He debuted against the wrong guy. So I don't know. I don't know what they like. I think he can get over, but I just don't know who he gets over on at the moment. And I don't know. I don't know how he gets hot at the moment.
If the Drifter was still around, he probably would have went over on him. Elias Sampson.
Yeah,
if he
and
wasn't
maybe
hurt.
that was actually the plan. And
Murphy, Blake, Angelo Dawkins, Cutler. These are all guys that should have been losing to Almas, just to keep Almas in the limelight as a guy who's been winning. There's no reason he had to lose to Rude. I'm not saying he had to win. There's no reason he had to be in a match with Rude except to get Rude over, and that's fine. But then he goes right into, like 2 weeks later on TV, he goes right into a match with Austin Aries and loses as well. Now what? He can only beat Ty Dillinger? Like, this guy was, a big signing for you. Not everybody can win, but at the same time, you don't have to have, like, everybody who is in a position to win fighting each other all the time.
We can talk about this some more as we see Dillinger and Bobby Roode develop, but man, Dillinger versus Bobby Roode, now that would have made sense, like for Bobby Roode's debut, because then you have a defined babyface that everyone wants to cheer and not see lose against a guy that, even though he's got this crazy gimmick with his entrance and everything like that and his persona, you still want to see him lose.
Well, I mean, that's the unfortunate disadvantage to the smart crowd, is that they're still cheering the hell out of Bobby Roode because the glorious thing is so over, and the entrance is so over, and the theme song is so over, that I think you're going to get a situation where it doesn't matter who his opponent is.
Yeah.
He's going to get that 50-50. I mean, listen, that was like that for
essentially
Samoa Joe, and then people turned on Joe.
He's freaking Triple H.
Well,
he's freaking Triple H.
People turned on Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe was, like, huge.
That's true.
Like, fans popped for him. He turned on Balor. People would still kind of cheer him, but he turned on Balor. And everyone loves Balor. So you got to get the right person in there, and they don't have that right now. I mean, Nakamura is fine, but, it's like a given Nakamura Roode. That's like a given match. It's not like something you can manufacture by having Bobby Roode do something evil to Nakamura. That's, like, expected.
Right. But, he moves through the ranks quickly, and they face each other.
All right.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
all right.
But we'll see. We'll see how things go.
All right, so let's talk about Backlash. First of all, anything on SmackDown, anything at all, really quick, that happened to get you more excited for Backlash or less excited for Backlash?
Not really. It was just, it wasn't a good show. It wasn't a bad show. It was just a show.
Wow, I kind of see what you did there. You
Yeah,
ready?
it wasn't terrible. I didn't hate the opening segment like I've seen a lot of people did. I thought it was fine. They had some technical issues. Like it felt like I was watching TNA for the first 30 minutes because of several different technical snafus. But I mean, at least there was actual audio.
Right, but did anything happen on the show to make you more or less inclined to enjoy SmackDown? Backlash, sorry.
No.
Okay, for me,
Not
yes.
really.
For me, yes.
I would assume less. Oh wait, no,
American
there is
Alpha.
actually a more, but it's probably what you're gonna say, so I'll let you say it.
American Alpha. Can we stop with this injury angle crap? And I left it out of Raw because it was there. I left it out of the CWC because it was there. I've left it out of NXT because it was there. But it's also on SmackDown. Creating injuries for storyline purposes in a day and age where people are actually really getting injured, like, it's not insulting to that. It's insulting to fans' intelligence because it never wrestlers are bad actors. I don't know if anybody notices this. So when you injure a wrestler in the ring as part of the story, it almost never comes to fruition that injury prevents a win and enables a loss in a realistic way. So the Usos turn, and that was great. But they take out Gable, and now American Alpha's out of the tournament. Can you make sense of this for me? And we'll talk about the opening tag team match in a second. Can you make sense of this to me, Duke? Why did American Alpha have to get injured and get taken off the show?
Heath Slater.
What, Heath Slater and Rhyno can't win? They can't beat American Alpha? American Alpha can't.
No, I mean, come on. It's bad. Like, it's the guy that everyone wants to see win because everyone's so behind Slater now. So he's got to win the whole thing versus the new up and comers that you just assume are going straight to the top with it. It's
why couldn't the Usos just beat American Alpha then?
That's
even if they cheated. You know what I mean? If you're going to turn them, they could have just done something blatantly obvious to cheat. I mean, listen.
I think it was more shocking the way it happened, though.
It was, but now
it was super shocking that AA went over so fast that they just hit their finisher and they were done, and they essentially squashed the Usos.
I'm not going to deny that. I popped.
Yeah, I mean, just like I was cracking up at it, and then I saw them go for the handshake. I'm like, oh, they're gonna do this. They're really gonna do this, and sure enough, there was the heel turn. So it was it was not like, as soon as they went for the second handshake, I'm like, okay, I think I know what's happening here, and I can't wait to see how people react to this. And it went over like it was supposed to. I get what you're saying,
well,
but
wrestling logic.
It's about
now the Usos are rewarded.
Slater. Huh?
Now the Usos are rewarded for doing what
well,
they did.
if you watch Talking Smack, they made good sense of it. So on Talking Smack, they were Brian and Shane showed up for a little bit, and they were addressing the situation, and that's where they confirmed that Chad Gable was out, and for a couple of weeks is what they said, with a MCL sprain, and then, which by the way could be a legit injury. He could have been really taped up, and they did the squash to get him out of the ring quickly, and that, it could have been an actual injury.
News like that would have made the light of day, though, and I never read anything like that.
Fair enough. But anyway, back on the Heath Slater angle. Heath Slater has gotten over, and I don't know that they necessarily, I know they fashioned the story to get it over, but it was just, they sort of threw it out there and just set the line to see what would happen, and everybody took it. everybody is on the hook for it. So I don't necessarily hate it. I get what you're saying, because we have people that it's like they're getting legitimately injured, and
But that's
people
not even like that's not
getting
even
popped for wellness.
that kind of came out. That came out wrong when I was saying it. I don't mean that people actually getting injured, so it's insulting to them to fake the injury angles and stuff like that. Like, enough people are getting injured on their own, like we see it like daily and weekly, and now whatever the case may be. But to just have a team that you're going to put over, and they're too young, they're too hot maybe to have the title now, and you have to have them chase it. We've said it. We didn't expect them to be the first tag team champions anyway. We wanted them to chase it. And Heath Slater being over or whatever and being the potential fan favorite would maybe dilute American Alpha versus Heath Slater and Rhyno. And like
It
Usos,
absolutely would.
right?
Who
And
do you
Usos,
cheer for?
right? Usos versus Heath Slater and Rhyno would be a better story, because now the Usos are so sinister that they could have just done it a different way. Is all I'm saying. They don't have to play this. We're going to injure somebody, because it's on every show, show.
So to your point, I bunny trailed like I typically do, but what they said on Talking Smack was the Usos were not just putting them into a match to putting them into the match. They caused this problem, so they're going to have to fight. They're going to have to wrestle again. Is essentially what it was. Is they need to be put in a situation where they're in danger now, because they endangered someone else, is essentially what they're implying. So it's like it was actually logical, like the way they did it on Talking Smack, which was surprising, because I thought it was going to be just sort of glossed over and they were just going to say it, but they really, like, they did it conversationally, where it was, well, the Usos caused this problem, so there's no and people, and I believe it was Renee, was, well, aren't you rewarding them for it? And they're like, well, no, they'll have to fight again. And they're
wrestlers. They fight every time they have a match.
Yeah, but it's not like they're putting them in the title match. They're going to have to,
They put them back in the tournament. That's, I mean, I understand what you mean, and I know it's wrestling. Like,
but they're putting the Hype Bros back in the tournament too.
Yeah,
so
they're the Hype Bros. So Uso versus the Hype Bros, since you mentioned.
No, but I'm just saying the logic is they're putting the Hype Bros back in the tournament too. So they're giving someone a second chance,
right, and
making someone fight the person who caused this problem.
So who's going to win?
Oh, the Usos.
Right, absolutely. All right, let's go on to the Intercontinental match. The Miz
the
versus...
Usos will probably cheat to win, too. So
The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler.
Come on.
In an Intercontinental title match where they make the Miz look like the biggest idiot in the world. And, whatever happened to their Be a Star campaign? Do they not have this anymore?
Sure they do.
Okay, then why is Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler, acting like the biggest bullies out there?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. Who's going to win this match and why?
This is tough. It's like every Ziggler match, because it's, to me, the obvious pick is Miz, and I don't know that Ziggler does anything to elevate the title at the moment. I could be wrong. But Ziggler was really good on commentary, and he was even better on Talking Smack, which I need to tell you about that afterward, because it was pretty funny.
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it before Backlash.
I'm totally going to spoil something for you, though. But anyway, Ziggler was pretty good on Talking Smack, and essentially talked up The Miz and said, The Miz is this guy that he is a hardworking guy, and he has gotten a lot of grief, and to his point, he can get in anybody's head, and he pointed that out to Daniel, and how he can draw out real emotions and a real fight from anyone if he wants to. He just has to actually want to, and that's what
it's basically the same Ziggler versus Miz storyline we had when they feuded 4 months ago, and then 4 months before that. I don't hate the Miz. I respect him. He's a hell of a wrestler, a hell of a guy, but
well, I guess, and that's sort of a problem with Ziggler in general. It's kind of he's sort of wrestled everybody, but they don't put him on a main event tear, right? they'll put him in a main event, but they don't put him on like in an actual chase necessarily. It's a 1 month program to put over a champion is typically what you have with him. And it's odd because that means everyone he goes into a fight with, he's kind of already had something with previously, like you said. And it sort of is the same story because it's like they don't really know what to do with him without putting a title on him.
Do you want a good prediction here from me?
What you got? I'm going to pick The Miz.
I'm going to pick The Miz too, and they're going to make him look like he was wrestling like a coward. Like, I really want him to wrestle like a champion and win cleanly. But I really think they're going to play up this I'm a coward thing, and I don't care what you say, that's how I'm going to wrestle, and I hate that. But I hope I'm wrong, because last month we were rooting for a clean win, and he got one. And then all of a sudden, because of the clean win, everyone's like on this like he's a coward thing, and I don't get that after that. So,
well, and he had a good, to his credit, one of the big things that people have complained about Miz, sort of backstage rumblings about Miz is that you don't typically see people do dives against Miz because he doesn't like to catch people. Well, he caught all 200 and however many pounds of Apollo Crews on Tuesday night.
Oh yeah.
That was like a solid dive and probably one of the best catches I've seen on a suicide dive in a while, considering all the really ugly dives we've seen recently. So it was
all right.
It was pretty good. But
right.
Anyway, to his credit.
One prediction time. Here we go. Here's the prediction.
Go.
Dolph Ziggler's 2016 is going to be miserable because he's going to be the man in 2017. They're going to John Cena him in 2013 just so they can have John Cena in 2014. He's going to lose. He's going to lose a lot. He's going to question himself whether he's cut out for the business anymore. And then in 2017, he's going to get a title, and he's going to run with it, and he's going to be a strong champion.
I hope so, because he pointed out on Talking Smack how he's got his hands in a lot of stuff now. He's been covering like the political conventions,
yeah.
And he actually talks, he talks from sort of a halfway comedic standpoint on politics on his Twitter a lot now.
Well, I always said that it feels like he's going to be one of those guys who just leaves the company, the business altogether for a couple of years, pursuing other interests. And that's why I always want to see him win, because with every loss, I feel like he's closer to getting to be that guy.
And he's branching out more and more and more and more and more. So
right. So I think
it's one of those things where if someone put him in a serious movie, I think he would do well. And because we've seen he's all about overacting. But
right. So he's gonna have a bad 2016 to have a strong 2017. That's my hopeful wish and prediction, and that's why I'm really gonna go for the Miz. And that's why they're putting him in the spotlight to be that loser right now and questioning himself. Hopefully that's what happens. Do you want?
I kept thinking that meant a heel turn, but I like where you're going with it.
I would love them to turn heel, but he had to do that against Ambrose. Now is not the time for that.
Sure.
Against the Miz. But how about this one now? The only way you can sell me out of this Miz is a coward angle is if Miz goes out there and wins and wins and wins and wins, and it's like you still wrestle like a coward, and then he just snaps. And now he's anti-coward and like full on 100% offensive mode, fighting everybody and everything. I won't say cheating, but like getting disqualified during matches by using, foreign objects, let's say. Just an out and out snap. Even maybe putting Daniel Bryan in a hold in the ring to really get the crowd's ire kind of thing. Otherwise, it's just Miz is the coward until somebody beats him. And then it's like, look, we told you all the time you were a coward.
I still think, I like it. I still think the best way to start sort of turning people's opinion on him and maybe even turning him babyface to an extent, or at least tweener, anti-hero type guy. I think the best way you do that right now, in the framework of what's going on right now, the best way to do that is to have him start doing things like the yes lock, the running knee, stuff like that. Like have him start sending a message to Daniel Bryan. Okay, you think I'm safe? Well, I'm going to do some of your moves since you're Mr. Indie Darling, and I'm going to do them better, is essentially the message he starts sending. So I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's what, and I think that would be, I think he would open some eyes if he pulled something off like that, and it would open some, and it would get people really on board with the storytelling of SmackDown in general. If this weekend we saw him maybe win with the yes lock, maybe he cheats to get there, but then wins with the yes lock, just to sort of put an exclamation point on, I can do it better than you, Daniel.
Maybe. Who knows?
But we'll see.
I think we have to make these outrageous storylines for something because we're so not invested in it, and it sucks. But
I don't think it sucks, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the whole.
It could be better. Yeah. It could be like when you have something like that. When you have something that hot as what happened 2 weeks ago, why not capitalize on it? Like why? Like how does it? Who benefited from them just totally pulling back on the whole Ms. Daniel Bryan thing?
And Ziggler being the defender, like the guy thrown into the mix for no reason because he wasn't involved in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and him just being out there. Like, Daniel didn't send him out there. Daniel didn't ask it. Daniel wasn't in the ring and ask him to come out there and then leave, because he can't be on TV with Miz anymore, or like saying that in the ring as opposed to saying it on Talking Smack.
I think Ziggler was the guest of Miz TV that night for losing to Ambrose.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That is right. And then they changed it up. Yeah.
I guess it technically was Miz TV, but it wasn't Miz TV at the same time. You know what I mean? But anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Duke, convince me that Bray Wyatt's not going to lose another match.
I can't.
You can't. Orton wins. Because Orton's owed something after SummerSlam, and
Wyatt, and let's be honest, despite the dude giving some of the best promos in the world, Wyatt's owed nothing because every time they've tried to push him, he's gotten injured. And I'm not hating on the guy because I can't say that it would be any different for me, but he's had a weird couple of years where every time they put some steam behind him, something happens or something in the Wyatt family happens. So now it's just all on him. So I really hope he stays healthy so that we can actually see him move forward. But I don't think this is where it happens.
This goes against what I say when I say it at times, but I do believe that the WWE has things penciled in for the end of the year. And maybe not necessarily things that were amended post brand split. Like, I don't even know how long they knew they were going to do that. Because remember, like, things were stagnant and stale, like, in between that time before when it was announced to the time there was the brand split. Like, nothing really major happened. I feel like a lot of 2016 is still going to be nothing really major happening. Like, they're going to do things here and there. Like, they're going to create titles where titles need to be created. They're going to do the Cruiserweight division on Raw. But, for the most part, Dean is your champion. And everything else is kind of like, well, we're going to kind of just try to maintain this status quo and try to slot matches in here and there. I kind of feel like the Wyatts are going to be in that group, or just Wyatt, Bray Wyatt in general, maybe the Wyatts then thereafter, are going to be in this group that Dolph Ziggler's in, where they're going to just go on this bad, miserable 2016 to have this, like, fresh, rejuvenated, with a vengeance 2017. And Wyatt has done himself no favors getting hurt. Not his fault. People get hurt. But they've also really put him in a situation to lose every feud he's ever been in. And then just start a new one the next night. For the same reasons, the same gimmick.
You're absolutely right, yeah.
Same reasons, same gimmicks. I am whatever. You are this person. I am this person. You're the Viper, but I'm the guy that eats vipers, or whatever the hell it is now. But, and Orton, off that loss to Brock Lesnar, they're probably going to try to promote Orton and Lesnar again at a later date. WrestleMania, maybe? I don't know. They're going to have that house show. But, that's not really going to be anything that's on TV anyway. So I don't know. So I think Orton is a guy that they won't let lose twice in a row in major pay-per-view matches right now. And I think Wyatt's a guy that they just, he's safe to lose because he loses all the time anyway and is still popular. So it means nothing to him. I don't know. That's why I don't like predicting Wyatt matches because it's the same.
Surprise me, WWE. Put Wyatt over. Surprise me. Put Wyatt over convincingly. Surprise me. Let the story be that, you know, all the voices in Randy's head spilled out when Brock busted him open, and so now he doesn't have the edge anymore. Yeah, I know.
Sorry if you're eating dinner, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I want a lights out situation with Wyatt. That's not like the cheesy lights out and he's not there anymore, like he belongs in Lucha Underground kind of thing, but just a lights out, lights on situation where like, and this is not a prediction for Sunday. This is a prediction for hopefully in a couple months. Where then it's just like Rowan's there, Harper's there, and then like 3 other people are just there. And now we have like a real Wyatt family, like a real stable, and not like what it should have been in the first place. Just like it's a collection of people that just don't care. They're anarchy.
Right. They're there to take down the machine.
And we're not getting it this night. So Orton wins, right?
Surprise me with a Wyatt win, but I'm going to pick Orton for now.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the women's 6-pack elimination challenge. I'm so glad they made it elimination. I really am.
Thank you. Yes.
I really am. All matches that involve multiple people should be elimination. Maybe not a triple threat, but at least a 4-way and beyond.
Yeah, four plus people. Yeah, make it elimination.
Should all be
make
elimination.
People work for it.
All right. Well, let's just do it this way. First to be eliminated.
I'm going with Natty.
And by who?
Probably Becky. To sort of end that. Because
to make Becky look strong in her inevitable loss.
No, that's not what I'm saying. So,
I'm saying.
Well, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying Becky gets the first elimination over Natty. That's what I'm going to pick.
All right. Alexa Bliss gets eliminated first.
Wait. No, I'm saying Naomi gets the first elimination over Natty, so they can be in a program together after this.
All right.
So Naomi over Natty first. That's my pick.
Alexa Bliss gets eliminated first by Nikki Bella. No real reason behind it, except Alexa Bliss is just, I don't know, the weakest part of this match, maybe. Probably not. Probably second weakest part of the match, but your weakest part of this match is probably in a better story right now. So I'll go with Nikki over Alexa to start. But I'll tell you what will happen later on. We won't go person by person, but what will happen later on is I think Nikki will eliminate Carmella.
Yeah, I actually expect the final 3 to be Nikki, Becky, and Carmella, and Nikki to eliminate Carmella.
But I also think Carmella in losing is going to cost Nikki the match as well. Like instantly. Like she gets pinned or whatever. She gets up, smacks her like, between the ropes or whatever, and then someone rolls up Nikki and Nikki's eliminated as well. So I think they'll go hand in hand. I think Natty, Becky Lynch, and Naomi will be your final 3. I'm going to go with Naomi winning this match. And there's the only thing that talks me out of this is the fact that there's no story with Naomi winning this match, whereas Becky and Natalya have something, and Nikki and Carmella have something. Naomi and Alexa Bliss are probably the only 2 that don't have any real story in this match. But I think that maybe because of the story involving the other people, and with Alexa getting eliminated early, it frees this up. I think Naomi can capitalize and be the first person. If that's my heart speaking, then my gut says Becky Lynch. So I don't know about you. Who do you think wins it all?
All right, I'm going to give you my order because it sets up the future, but I'm going to be really quick about it. So I already said, okay, Natalya goes out first to Naomi. Alexa takes out Naomi. Then you have So what do you have left? You have 4 people left, right? So then I think Alexa will come close to getting another elimination, but then Nikki will put her out, and no, Carmella will put her out. I don't like how I'm doing this. I feel like that's how they'll do it.
You're trying to book everybody gets one victory over one other person.
Yeah,
kind of
I feel like they'll chain it to keep everybody quote unquote strong. I feel like that's going to be the booking here, is that even if it may be a quick elimination, like someone's not looking because they're bragging about, which is totally fitting for Alexa, by the way, that she brags about getting her victory, and so Carmella is, she's playing this opportunist role, so she takes that shot, and so that creates another enemy for her and makes her sort of an even bigger heel in my eyes, and in most people's, I would imagine, because everyone loves the little evil blonde in Alexa Bliss. But she eliminates Alexa Bliss, so you get rid of another favorite, even though it's a heel. And so your last 3 are Becky, Nikki, and Alexa. Becky, maybe through the course of the match before, ends up out on the floor, or something happens where Nikki, or maybe just Becky, emotes like she was doing a pretty good job of on Tuesday, and she just sort of steps out of the way of Nikki and Carmella and lets them fight each other, and just sort of sits back making faces for a little bit, and until she eventually gets involved. But Carmella will get pinned or submitted. I don't think does. I mean, Nikki could pull out a submission. That would be interesting. But I have a feeling she'll use her new finisher on Carmella. She'll pin, and then you'll have the epic stare down moment of the longest reigning Divas champion, the former face of the women's division, or the face of the Divas division, staring down the new face of the Smackdown women's division, and they'll have a good maybe 6 to 7 minute match there, and Becky will go over to win it. That's my booking.
Not bad.
But we can move on so it's not too long.
All right, so you have Becky winning. I have Naomi winning, just for the fact that I just don't want to say Becky's going to win. Not that I don't want her to win. I just don't want to say it. Like, I just feel like...
Yeah, I know. You don't want to jinx it.
Let's do... Well, no, it's not that I don't want to... I still want Naomi to win, too. Like, either one, in my eyes, will win.
A babyface. Have a babyface that's not Nikki winning.
Or Naomi, like 2 people that just deserve to have a title.
That's true.
Naomi's been...
One. Yep.
Been what they've needed her to be, and never had a chance to really even do anything. And then
again, was even put in a title match, and they took it away from her.
Yeah, and all she's done is
for no reason.
And all she's done is be athletic, and entertaining. And I think she deserves this title, and I think they might do that and split the roster by forming these. Natalya and Becky continue something, and Nikki and Carmella continue something, and then the winner of those matches, fight for the title next month, whatever.
I think that's the problem with Naomi winning, though, is that puts Becky back in the ring with Natalya, and nobody wants to see that again.
No.
Or it puts her in the ring with Alexa, which people would love, but that doesn't move Alexa along.
But it leaves Becky Lynch free for when All Red Everything returns.
You make a point, but... It's
not a good one, but it's probably a valid one.
When is there? Do we know when that's up? By the way, it seems like it should be soon, right?
I don't know, because Del Rio's suspension was kind of like on the beginning of that, right?
When was SummerSlam?
August.
Because it was do we know the date? Because it was the day before SummerSlam.
I don't really know. August 18th, Del Rio was suspended, so.
Okay, so
30
it hasn't
days
been a month
will probably
yet.
be...
So it could be like a week out,
after.
and all of a sudden Eva comes back to challenge. Yeah. If Becky has it, that could be a compelling story. So,
not to people who want to watch real women's wrestling.
Well, I know, but but Eva's gimmick has gotten over. to the to creative's credit, that gimmick has gotten over from what I've seen.
Right, until she, that doesn't make her be able to lock up and do a
It
headlock,
doesn't make her a viable.
Yeah. I mean,
opponent.
if that's the case, then Glacier's probably the greatest wrestler of all time.
Sure.
And it wouldn't be Steve Blackman, who actually did it in the ring. But all right.
Thank you for getting it in.
I didn't get in last week, did I? I feel sick about that. Tag team tournament finals time. The Usos, who asterisks may not be the Usos, versus Slater and Rhyno. These are just based on our predictions. It could also be the Hype Bros versus Slater and Rhyno. Do we expect the Usos to reign on this feel-good party of Heath Slater getting a contract?
Either way, it works. See, that's the beauty of what's going on now. Is one way, if it was American Alpha versus Slater and Rhyno, doesn't really work. Either way, this works. Either the Usos spoil sign Heath Slater, or Slater wins and gets his contract. But either way, it works because you have these newly turned heels who just accomplished the biggest heel move of a tag team probably in the better part of a couple of years for WWE. I mean, seriously, there's just not been any real heel moves by a tag team for a while, legit.
Well, listen, it's sad that they had
to get ahead,
right? It's sad that they have to turn the Usos heel when they already have 3 heel tag teams in the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and Breezango, all which they've pretty much destroyed credibility on over the last year or year plus. So they had to make the Usos heel because they don't have a reputable heel tag team, and now 66% of your tag teams are heels. I'll go one further. 5 out of 6.
That makes a good pool for a babyface team to defend the titles, even if it's this hodgepodge team.
It does, but my point being
Rhyno.
that they did not treat most of these tag teams as legitimate for like the longest time. So, in a sense, like they had to turn the Usos heel because they needed heels.
You're right,
and they had to turn a face team, a team that people got behind, heel, and couldn't use one of the regular heel teams. It's just it's a detriment to booking. And when people say that teams don't get buried, like they're just doing their job and stuff like that, well, yes and no. Vaudevillains and Ascension have been getting buried and have no credibility to be that heel team that could spoil somebody. Usos now have that credibility because they're a strong tag team. They've been there before. They've been on the forefront of the tag team division for months, and they weren't jobbed out and made to look stupid every opportunity.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that part of the whole burying those other guys, like you said, is the fact that just tag teams haven't been taken seriously in general. Just the booking, your top tag team in WWE is comedy. Well, in main roster WWE, your top tag team is not comedy because they're top guys, but we'll talk about them on a different show. But anyway,
how about this? Ready?
I think it's good either way. One thing I will say, this is just gonna be my last thing, and then you can say you can get your thing in too. But I just hope the Usos look different. If they're going to be heels, I want them to look different and not come out in bright colors and do their chant. And I forget what it's called, what the actual chant is called.
I want to say kata, but I think that's what Danielson does in Karate Kid.
Yeah.
They do the
something
Komori.
very similar.
I don't know.
Komori something very similar to that. But I hope they don't come out that way. I hope they actually look different. And
the haka.
Yeah, there you go. So I really hope they do, and I think I'm gonna pick Slater and Rhyno, but I think either way this match works. Usos versus Slater and Rhyno.
You ready for WCW booking? Ready for let's book this match in the WCW bubble? Usos versus Slater and Rhyno. Here's how the match ends. The Usos knock Rhyno off the apron. They work on Slater. Slater has this like heart of a champion kind of come back and refuses to get pinned, always kicking out of everything they put him through. And then next thing you know, Slater mounts an offense, gets up, turns around, and Rhyno, now in full Uso face paint, gores him. And the Usos cover him, get the win. Rhyno hops the rail, takes Slater's kids and his wife out the back door, and they go to like Red Lobster. There you go. WCW fantasy booking. This one match in a bubble.
That's straight up Russo booking.
That is greatest booking of all time.
Vintage rope opera booking right there.
I think available in paperback or hardcover at a Barnes & Noble near you, or B. Dalton Walden Books, or wherever paperbacks are sold as well. But I think Usos win.
I don't think half of those bookstores exist anymore.
I think you have to get out more. Usos win, and I think now it puts Slater on a new path to find a contract, and maybe over on the Raw side, and maybe that path is he has to win the Royal Rumble. He has to,
and so it's just like Heath Slater is the consummate underdog. I mean, it could work. He's like a comedy underdog, but you just keep getting behind him because it's like it's just working. Like it's been done really well. And then the trailer segment they did was really good because Renee's fantastic.
And what happens? And
Rhyno cheese whiz and crackers.
And Rhyno staring her down like
a creeper.
Like, how you doing? It was awesome. But then what happens if Slater wins? Then there's nothing for him to chase anymore. Now it's like, okay, Slater has a job and his family's well off, and you know what might happen. Like, all right, stupid like fantasy booking, but
we got another match to get to.
It's all right. You've had plenty of time. I'm gonna take some time now. King of the Ring, King Slater. Let's bring back King of the Ring and then have it ultimately be Slater. Now Slater flips his life upside down and he's upscale, high class, and looking down at everybody. If it gets, he used to be that trailer guy, and then
he divorces Beulah.
Yeah, exactly.
Leaves her to take care of their 7, 8, 13 kids.
Yeah,
14,
and he on screen dates Alexa Bliss or whatever, and
he runs the kids out of his yard as they're picking up bottles and cans. By the way,
Queen Alexa and King Slater. It's like that would work, I think. But yeah, that one match you talked about is for the, I don't even know what to call it, the WWE Championship.
Yep.
Ambrose versus AJ Styles. What do you think about this match?
I think it's a WWE World Championship, by the way. So there's World and Universal because Raw has to be better than SmackDown. Was the idea?
But we all know the Galaxy Champion is Nikki Cross.
Yep.
Thank you.
I can't wait till she brings her title into the ring with her.
I think I am going to pick her to win the Women's Six-Pack Challenge, by the way.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Yeah.
I think I'm picking Ambrose because the story and there's the whole Ambrose or AJ quote unquote looked strong going into it, and so traditional booking says the guy who looks strong is the guy who's who's going to get pinned. Traditional booking, or traditional telegraphing, I should say. But I'm going to pick Ambrose for this because the story for Ambrose since he's been on SmackDown has been he gets in people's heads and he gets them playing his game, and ultimately that's their undoing. Now, unfortunately, we don't see the payoff of that in the matches themselves, but that's the story that's told all the way up until the match, and then he ends up going over. So I think it's if they have a really good match, if it's a Dean Ambrose versus Triple H at Roadblock style match, and the only difference is Ambrose goes over, then Ambrose is forever legitimized as a great champion. If there's shenanigans, I don't know. But that's how I would book it. I would book it as let's give them time and let's have a knockdown, drag out, holy crap, where did this come from? This isn't the Ambrose I'm used to seeing match. Because you can get that with AJ Styles, of course. And AJ puts him over, and now he really is the face that comes in second place. By the way, that promo was fantastic from Ambrose.
That was pretty good. I don't remember the end result to that. Did they fight?
They
or
don't
did
give
they just stare each other
trophies
down?
to the face that comes in second place.
Did they fight or did they just walk away?
Nut shot.
Oh, that's right, Nutshot. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Which was great because the whole like they have to put like the AJ Styles getting nutshotted to like the Benny Hill soundtrack.
Yeah.
And just like play it and rewind it and play it like slow mo it, rewind it back, play it again. That'd be nice. But
well, what's funny is AJ is actually really like he's such a serious wrestler and such a like smart favorite or whatever that you don't really remember how good he is at comedy, but he's been really good at comedy for quite a long time.
Oh, yeah.
He's really, really good at goofing off, whether it be babyface or heel. And some of his best work has been when there's a slight comedy spin on it. And I mean, the rope thing last week was amazing. I mean, I can't believe a dude hung on the ropes for the better part of 10 minutes just to get over that, you know, that he got bamboozled essentially. So anyway,
or if you're Norman
but
Chad,
I'm going to pick
bamboozled.
Ambrose in a fantastic match.
Well,
which is what I hope happens.
I'm
well, I hope it's a fantastic match. I don't really care who wins.
I'm looking further ahead here. And
Okay.
I think that they're really playing up the AJ Styles face that runs the place with Cena armband and stuff like that. I don't think they're playing that up for him to lose. I think they're playing
I
that
know.
up for him to be against Cena at Royal Rumble, let's say. Because I'm looking at the next pay-per-views and it's No Mercy, which could be an AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose rematch. And then there's TLC after that, which could be like maybe No Mercy is a non-title match, or maybe, you know, AJ wins but he doesn't win clean and Dean gets another shot at TLC where there's no disqualification.
Or it could even be an open a world championship open challenge, and then you have Cena come out and he
Could be,
and
but
then,
I think
and then AJ changes his mind about putting the title on the line.
I just think that the headline, the SmackDown headline of Royal Rumble is going to be AJ versus Dean Ambrose, and it may not be
Dean Ambrose or John Cena?
I'm sorry, John Cena versus AJ Styles, and it may not be that AJ Styles beats Dean Ambrose this month, but I'd be hard pressed to have AJ Styles be the face that runs the place and lose again.
You're right.
And then win it another time. Might as well just take it, you know, just have him win it now. Have the head, have the ego get bigger, have the statements be bolder, broader, have the mockery of John Cena be larger, whatever it is. You know, have I don't know when John Cena's coming back. He's just off TV. He's not hurt or anything. They're just off TV, and he's probably off TV for this reason. Because if they put him anywhere, you know, who are they going to put him against, and how are they going to make it so that AJ can mock him when he's there as well? So AJ Styles wins. Then we got a couple months of AJ versus Dean. You know, AJ beating Dean 3 months in a row, maybe not, but maybe Dean Ambrose wins by disqualification at No Mercy, and then TLC settles it all. Only to have Cena versus AJ Styles at Royal Rumble, and I'm not saying that Cena's going to beat AJ Styles at Royal Rumble. We'll get there when we get there, but I'm just saying that it's set up for AJ Styles right now to be the man, and the original plans were AJ Styles wins the title anyway. So
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point, and that's solid. That's a lot more solid booking because I have no idea what you do with Dean Ambrose after this. So
well,
it's
I kind of do.
He could move down to the IC title, and you could have some fun stuff with he and Miz. But
Yeah, because I think that maybe it's John Cena versus AJ Styles at No Mercy, and then AJ wins by whatever reasons, and then John Cena demands a TLC match at TLC, and that's how you get that match. So maybe it's not 2 or 3 months with Dean Ambrose. Maybe it's just this month. Now, let's spin this another way. Ambrose loses. What do we do with him? Well, if Miz is so unhappy that everyone's treating him as a coward, maybe he just goes after Ambrose.
Yeah.
And just attack and goes full on attack, like I said before, and he's the guy that he just wrecks him.
Well, maybe if they really wanted to tell that story, like to get that story sort of hot shotted, you could have Miz win clean at Backlash again and maybe getting Daniel's face about it. And Daniel still, like you said, he just still calls him safe or whatever. And yeah, still calls him safe. And so instead of, and then maybe Shane is there to keep them from getting in each other's faces, and Miz just storms off, leaving Maurice behind, and she's just kind of like, doing the Maurice shrug thing or whatever. And then at the end of the night, you have Miz come out and just totally destroy Ambrose after he loses the match. That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, because you don't need the spotlight on AJ Styles. He's your heel. You know, the
he's your
sympathy's
heel.
there for Ambrose, and then have just the Miz and just put the Miz over as like the worst person in the world by by really like taking it to Ambrose, and then all of a sudden, the title of the next pay-per-view is No Mercy. So
Yeah.
It never always plays into what's going on, but now you have AJ Styles having no mercy on John Cena and The Miz having no mercy on Ambrose, and it's your whole like loser of the world title gets the IC title match kind of deal still going on. But let's not forget Survivor Series is in the middle as well, breaking up the pay-per-view. So there's four, including Backlash, there's 4 pay-per-views, or there's 3 pay-per-views after Backlash that would feature a title match. But it could be whatever. It's Survivor Series. Who the hell knows how they're going to do that? But
I really like that booking though, and it makes a lot of sense, and really gets Miz over even more as a heel if he beats down a freshly defeated babyface.
It would be entertaining. It would put all the people where they need to be for us to be into it, and it wouldn't make us look stupid, feel stupid by watching it. You know what I mean?
And I'd definitely be watching on Tuesday. Sure.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of that, Raw was pretty bad. SmackDown was pretty bad. What's your quick grade of the stuff to start off September?
9.9 maybe.
Yeah, I got 9.9 as well. And
I honestly didn't think SmackDown was bad, but it just wasn't good. Yeah, I mean it was just a show. Like, I wasn't really trying to make it.
It felt like SmackDown before.
But
it felt like taped SmackDown. It wasn't anything special.
It didn't really feel like a go home, and maybe
it was their first go home, and it kind of felt like it was taped SmackDown.
Yeah, it felt flat. Yep.
Any speculations for additional matches? I have one: Kane versus Breezango handicap match.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Or or Kalisto versus Baron Corbin, or Baron Corbin versus Apollo Crews. Throw it out there.
Yeah. All of those are completely viable. I find it odd to have Corbin on this roster and not have him featured in some way, even if it's some sort of pre-show thing. So,
but like,
I get that he's relegated there at this point.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
needs to be involved.
This month is Tag Team World Championship and Women's Championship, so maybe next month it'll be like more mid-card stuff coming out of the woodwork and stuff like that, and stuff like that. All right, one last question for you, then we can wrap it up.
Okay.
Have you ever felt not so fresh?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you. I'm the Duke. He's creepy, and he quit. He quit. Bye.